And poverty is having more needs than existing resources. Prosperity is having more resources than the existing needs. Needs exist in their thousands. You are broken through to the realm of millions. Say amen. So every need that comes is gulped. Poverty is, you also have resources, but there are more needs, and the needs gulp not just the resources. You now become a borrower. You now have to rely on other people. So when I see people like Ponenenche, 50 something, every time, I just berate myself. There's no, I'm uncomfortable. They say Rachel was crying and could not be comforted. That is a cry that has to be in your heart. When you really want to succeed, there's a cry that has to be in your heart that nobody can comfort you. That's why sometimes some people go into some fasting and everybody is telling them, you're not looking too good. He said, leave me. What do I need to look good? I remember in those days, they will always tell me, Pastor David, you're not really looking good. I say, I prefer to look really anointed than to look really good. That time I will fast, my mouth will be longer than necessary. You have never seen my long mouth because you have seen me wrap up before you came. It used to be long. Like pop. Because of no food. That's because food was not existing, but because fasting. Are you listening to what I'm saying now? What is the object of your drive? What is in front of you? What do you want to be like? That picture has to be there. That is what runs you crazy. The picture of the fact that during summer and harvest, we must bring our food before it's rainy season, otherwise we're going to die, is constantly in front of the ant. You're not hearing me. You're not hearing me. You're not hearing me. I see people making comedy on church services, and churches are filled. When they do video like this, hundreds, thousands of people. They do video like this, hundreds, thousands of people. I say, And the God kept whispering in my heart, all aspects of my glory are yet to be covered. There's a line for you if you can fight for it. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. All aspects of God's glory are yet to be covered. There is a line for you. There's a dimension for you if you're ready to fight for it. But there must be a picture of what you want to become. A burning picture of what you want to become inside you. He's constantly waking you up. He's constantly tormenting you. I discover that what makes us successful people is burning passion. Burning passion means it's burning them. It's burning them. It's really burning them. Have you seen Mbappe? Have you seen Lionel Messi? Do you watch? I don't watch football when I watch them. It's not football that I'm watching. Some of you don't even know why I like Cristiano Ronaldo. I like somebody who will fight to the end with all of his life. I like somebody who takes no for an answer. Who doesn't take no for an answer. Everybody is asking him, greet Lionel Messi that he has conquered the world. He has not written anything. I say, stay like that. Fight your battle. That guy could still come back to another World Cup. You'll be so surprised. He can do you Slatan, or what do they call it? Slatan. He can do you Slatan. He can do you some of those Italian people that played in 41. That guy that is coming to revenge. I said, yes, since you have life, come back for it. Never, yes. Yes, and you still have legs. Yes. Do you see when Messi scores? He will die. His burning passion to become the one that was fighting him. One World Cup 2018. That some of you little thing like this, you are satisfied. That's David was, calm down at a time and started looking at ladies. The reason why all of you look to me as men, you're so beautiful. In this church we have pretty girls, pretty young girls. Pretty young girls. It's sometimes when I'm looking through the picture, I say, these girls are beautiful. These are stunning girls. But it doesn't look to me like that because I'm looking for two things. I'm looking for how I will succeed. I'm looking for how you will succeed. So I don't see the beauty in the other side. Other people see it. One pastor came to me one day. As a matter of fact, two pastors, I said, just be careful so that you're not sleeping with them. I was just thinking in my head. I said, what are they using their head to think about? In the midst of this thing is sleeping with you are looking for. So the next thing you are looking for in the midst of this thing, that little boys are rising and become giant. And you are still there, texting people before they come to Bible study. I weep for myself. So he's sleeping. If some of you, if he's sleeping with what you are still sleeping, you are among God men most miserable. You are among God men most miserable. With all I'm preaching and teaching and carrying you along and crying, if your penis is still coming out and you are still masturbating it, that's a problem with your destiny. You don't like life. Because somebody cannot preach more than this. I've even over-preached. Come here. Come here. Come here. Go to Ruben. Let him face you. He must not turn his face anywhere. Are you listening to what I'm saying? I've even over-preached because you see, what I touch on every angle that can affect your life. You can be so great, you are going great. One spirit enters through something, punctures everything, and devotes you. David was devoted. By just looking at a lady. From looking at a lady, spirit entered him, say, this lady is more beautiful. David, he was in charge of all the ladies in Israel. He can pick anybody to marry. Marriage to any other lady in his time was not a sin. Sleeping with a woman that is not your wife is the sin. But the devil that wanted to crumble him now made him to go and sleep with a woman that is already as a was. There are so many virgins. Stunning babes in history. Go to history. Don't go there before you get married. Go there after marriage. So that you and your wife can be seen there. Because my wife told me so. He said I should not bring any boy here until they are married. Because you just be looking forward to marrying a Jewish person, but they cannot marry because except you convert to Judaism and you must renounce Jesus. Some of our brothers over there renounce Jesus. Born again talking. They enter into Judaism. After some time they now came back, they said, Jesus understood. You have lost your place. Mercy will die and everybody will be over the passion. This guy came back in the second half, doing everything. He scored 2 goals under 90 seconds. He has won. He wanted to make history as somebody who first made back-to-back. That's his own history. Back-to-back World Cup winning, which has never happened. So that he can be the greatest of all time. Because it will be very hard to beat that. Yeah, it will be very hard to beat that record of what back-to-back World Cup. After they finished and they lost on penalty, which anybody knows, penalty can go either way because nerves get the best of anybody. Go and play penalty in the press. Go on. Their legs are slippery. They're just controlling. Their legs are their hands everywhere. That's where some of them want to touch. So everybody actually forgives everybody for penalty. But the real game, they both won. It was passion, driving passion. Most especially when they now remove all the white people from France and put only black. It was sweeter. My brothers. My brother so they sold them pepperoni. I was say, go on, nah. I've never rejoiced with the university now. What happened? I'm for Mbappe. I'm for France. One of the things some of you don't know is that your team doesn't. This is one of the things that I've discovered in life right now. Who I support or what I support doesn't even have to win all the time. It's about the strength of courage. It's called character. To support who you support. Whether they lose. It's not every time that truth triumphs. Many times truth is silenced. It's not every time that truth triumphs. But eventually, because truth is God, it's going to triumph. But it may take time. Some people, they just say, it is what is winning that they just, no. I stay with something until it wins. I can apply for a church. They can take me in the United States, in other places, and I can be getting over $75,000 per annum. I'm a good preacher. Damn it. I'm telling you. There are churches that are fake. They will pay you. They have money. They don't have pastor. But I stay here where nobody is paying me nothing to root it out. There must be a burning passion. What is the burning passion? It is burning passion that gives back to self-drive. Self-drive gives back to self-motivation. Self-motivation gives back to self-discipline. With this, Solomon assures you, you will be great. But that is the problem. Many of the things we do today are not self-driven. But exceptionally great people are self-driven. Many of the things that we do today are not self-driven. Like I've told you, a lazy person is not somebody that doesn't go to work. A lazy person is not somebody that doesn't go. He said it's a little sleep. It's not even too much sleep. You didn't hear. It's a little sleep. It's a suju samba. A little folding of the hand. He didn't say too much sleep. That they sleep 24 hours a day, because that would mean that the person is paralyzed. Because that's why somebody will say, no, I don't even sleep throughout the whole day and whatever. It's a little sleep. It's a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. He says what makes poverty come. And somebody will say, how does a little sleep make poverty? Little is not. Because the truth is that many of the things we do in this life, we are compelled to do them because there are certain regulations and protocols that have pushed us to the point where we must do them. But real success is a product of what is personally battered in your spirit. And you follow it on daily basis, making a daily deposit inside it. For instance, all of you know that it's almost impossible to be rich as an employee. Or to be a billionaire as an employee. You must be one way, one kind, an investor. Or an inventor. If you are not an investor, you must be an inventor. Very hard to be rich as a pastor, just being paid in the church. Just say, I'm just preaching, and that is what makes me rich. There are other things they do that is beyond their preaching. Go and ask them. There are other things they do. The primary and the secondary school of the Redeemed Christian Church of God in Nigeria is more than the total number of the primary and the secondary school of government. The same thing for Winners Chapel. They have many business interests. Some of them will not tell you. They are the largest shareholders in many banks. Pastors, yes. I'm privy to some. That's the reason why they are able to sponsor. Many of Nigerian pastors have universities. Universities that government cannot run, and they run their own comfortably. Costing billions of dollars to run, to operate. And when you go to government university, you'll be spitting everywhere. You go to their universities, everywhere is neat. It's not just speaking in tongues that give back to that one. Apostle Johnson Suleiman is just 51 years old, I think, or 52 years old. He has changed his jet. In less than 3 years, he has changed his jet 4 times. And he said, in no time, I want to have an aviation business that, so many of them have aviation businesses. So many of them are into so many things. And that's the reason why it is not possible for you to meet them early in the morning around 10 a.m. or 11 a.m., brushing their teeth, peeping through the windows. That's the lifestyle of a ratchet preacher. Nobody chases them to the office. They go to the office themselves. People ask them, what are you even doing in the office? He said, I don't even know myself. They read around. They make contact. They make researches. I was reading somewhere in the book of Psalm where David was saying, my soul did a research. We read it recently in one Psalm. He said, my soul did a research. This one, I was thinking you are just a prayer warrior and a songwriter. He said, my soul made a diligent research. Let me check it. He said, my soul made a diligent research. So David was a researcher. No wonder he was able to write about many things that for many years, for many generations, we are still reading them and they're still very new and very accurate and up to date. What wakes people up in the middle of the night while every other person is sleeping is a picture of a desired end. As I saw Deborah in Enche, I said, how will answer an Ebenezer's wedding be? That's my question. And if you don't do anything about it right now, God forbid it will be Susie's wedding. I'm just telling you that, I'll be telling you, I know how much I suffered for people preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. He said, in this same city, I've been here for 40 years doing inner city evangelism and pastoring people. And some of them have become great madmen and they just forgot me. They don't even remember. They say, my brother, that's how the work of God goes. That's not how the work of God goes. It's your life that goes that way. That's not how the works of God. It's not the work of God. It's your personal life. Because when you are building people, you are not building your own personal empire. You are not supposed to be building people without building personal empires. There is a way to go about it. That's why this one came to me and told me in 2018, around this time, what do you want to study? In GMIT, there is a course there in theology. I said, yes. That's what he wants to study. I said, very good. You have forgotten your theological aspiration. I said, it's very good. Who employ theologians in this country? Except you become a priest, you now wear cassius. Say, man, you now be baptized. In no time, I've gotten access course for him for UIG. And as he was going, I said, focus on law, economics, and any other thing. Focus. Tough or not tough, I don't care. I said, that's what you're going to be. He said, but I want to be a pastor. And I said, yes, you are. Yes, you are. The two of them can run concurrently. Because the Bible says, David, yes, look at it. He said, I call to remembrance my song in the night. I commune with my own heart, and my spirit made a diligent search. That means even his songs were well researched out. You're not hearing me? The lyrics were based on thorough research of things. Because sometimes David will write some psalm and they say, this is the prayer of Moses. He will research into the prayer of Moses. He will research into this. He will research into that. Now, eventually the Bible talks about David served the people of God according to the skillfulness of his hand and the integrity of his heart. There are two different things. You can be sincere and sincerely poor. Hello? Say he's a very sincere pastor. That's not what I want to be known for totally. I want to be known for that also. but that I have skills. You don't say somebody has skills if the skill have not produced. It is productive skills that are skills. The rest of them is just talent. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Are you hearing what I'm saying? God bless you, young man. God bless you, young man. See you some other time. Are you hearing what I'm saying? There must be a picture of a burning desire, something you want to become that keeps you awake. As a result of that, your soul will make a diligent research. Your soul, if there is something stirring you up, your soul will find the reason for it. Hands always know they're going to die in winter and rainy season because they are lighter than feathers. They're very light. Ants are very minute. Sometimes, if I want to disturb ants in the village in those days, when I see them in one place, clustering in one place, I start weighing on them. I'm going to scatter them, scatter. I'm going to even kill some of them. Their backbone will be broken. They have that in their mind. So during harvest and during summer, they bring all their food into their colony. They have small colonies that they have built with mud that they hide inside when it is raining. When it is winter time, they hide inside it. It's the driving desire that gives back to self-drive, self-motivation, self-discipline. This is the only thing that holds sway in the world of real success. So, question as I close. Like Sinab asked. He asked us, how many of us really have what God wants to use you for? Yeah, good. It's very good. Now, the question is that, how many of us have a picture that set our hearts on fire of what you want to become? How many of us have that picture? That set your heart on fire of what you want to become. Some have set out to become another Tanket Rukuma. God raises standard in many fields, not just in the gospel field, but amongst his saints everywhere. It could be Bible time and whatever. It is that picture that you are running after, even though sometimes you cannot fully articulate it to people. You cannot fully articulate it. When people ask you, what are you looking for? What is he makes your heart indict many matters. It's a burning desire. At any time you think about that picture, your heart is set on fire. That is what will distinguish you from every other ordinary person. That's the reason why everybody will be looking for who to sleep with. You can't. That's what God did to Joseph. He showed him the picture of how the sun and the moon and 11 stars were bowing down to him. He saw how everybody was burning their harvest, and their harvest were bowing down to his own harvest. God gave him those two dreams and stopped. So when he got to a place where opportunities for disasters presented themselves, he said it is not possible. He said, I cannot do this thing and commit a great sin against God. And please, allow me 1 minute. Allow me 1 minute as we want to close to deal on this issue of spiritual laziness and degeneration. Joseph said, how can I do this thing if we are getting complete on it? How can I do this thing and commit a great sin against God? Don't forget, Joseph had the gift of dreaming, the gift of interpretation of dreams. Not only that, he had the gift of administration. Under his watch, things of the life and of the household of Potiphar increased like no other time. That means he was a very great manager. True of us? He was a very great pastor. When they took him to prison also, they put every other person in his care. He was able to manage the affair of the prison. Nobody was fighting each other. Nobody was doing nothing. Don't forget that even when he began to reign as second to Pharaoh, what happened to him? He was able to safeguard the whole of Egypt, a nation, safely guiding them off the coast of poverty, through abundance, through poverty, and the nation did not go down the drain. Are you listening? So that means those skills were with him. But beyond the skills and the talent and your education and the money and the investment and everything is the spiritual angle. Listen to me. Listen to me. Look at Asa and Ebenezer. The same wars and weapons of war that the devil unleashes on me, their father and their mother, is exact the same war and weapons of war that he unleashed on them. I told you the other day I was praying for one of them. I won't tell you. I saw one man, one old man, come around, maybe from them or whatever. I just said, what's the meaning of this? That was in the morning. In the evening I began to pray again. I saw somebody bent with a load like this, like a old woman come out from around one of them. I said, what is this? These guys are too young for this kind of a thing. No. From the moment they were in the pregnancy, in the embryo, the devil already knew they were going to become another Pastor David. So let us attack them. The same way we will attack David and Mirella is the same war. So if I'm not praying for them, and their mother is not praying for them, the way we pray for ourselves, we are in a major issue. The issue will have gone out of hands before we will discover it. Later on, like I was talking to my daughter, Iboku, the other day, and I said, some of the visions and the dreams and the things we see about you, it's not about you. He's bigger than you. The same way they unleash things at your mother is the same way they are unleashing things at you, even without you knowing. Now, this is what I'm trying to say. Osei, listen. And guys, listen. From the moment you identify with Christ, you are an enemy of Satan. And he hates you. Whether you're speaking in tongues is one syllable or non-syllable, he hates you. He hates your existence. He hates everything about. Don't you see? From the moment there was a righteous man called Abel, Satan rose up against him through Cain, who was an unrighteous man. He just had good thought about God. This one didn't have the most pleasant thought about God. He just had good thought. God must be very great. Let's give him everything. Even if you want to take everything that I have, let him take it. Are you watching me enough? Let him take everything that I have. The other one said, I can't just give God everything I have. What will I have left? Can you see two streams of thought? These are the two streams of thought in Cain and Abel. The devil has his hand on one stream. God has his hand in another stream. From the moment the man who had the stream of the thought of God began to exhibit it and God began to bless him, the one who had the stream of the thought of the devil rose up against him to kill him. David said, the people who hate me without a reason, they are more than the number of the hairs of my head. That's the reason why they said about Daniel, let us do everything to catch him. See, ask a question. Did they take their wives? No. Did they take their jobs? No. Did they take their position? No. Did they take their skills? No. He was just using his skill to help. Mercy, you are not listening. You are not listening. It's so important that everybody hears this from me. And I close with this. He was just using his key to help everybody. As a matter of fact, it would have been better off that they released him to go to his own nation. He didn't even want to stay there. But yet, they said, let us do everything to catch him. But they did everything and they could not get him. Then I said, if we cannot get him, let us try to get him by the law of his God. Let us make sure that anybody who is praying must pray to you, O king. If he's not praying to you, he has contravened the law of the land. He must be killed. And they got him on that. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, some of you are too lackadaisical and you are still open for the devil to attack. No matter what you are building up, if you open door for the devil to be coming to you, you will crash. Not just for now, but for all of life. It's so important that you know this. Why? Because the laws that govern your existence, from the moment you become the joint heirs with the Lord Jesus Christ, are now different from the laws that govern every other person. You see, Kanye West now, he got so much of his wealth from the other side. Now he moved to this side and he was enjoying the wealth. They were not happy with him. He began to talk some strange things. Everybody he could be talking all those strange things while he's where he is. And many of these things will not happen to him. You must understand the laws of God and the rules of engagement in the things of the Spirit. The life of a Christian is totally spiritual from beginning to the end. If you break an edge, the serpent will always bite you. I was telling Zainab, and it will be very good because she herself talked about it. I was telling Zainab, I would just walk to the house and say, you guys, just because you have maternity leave and whatever, you become indolent, you are lazy. A lot of things are creeping into your life. I say, it's just so terrible. They can't find out. They'll just be looking at me. One time, Zainab will come to me and say, like this, but how am I lazy, Pastor? I say, I said, this thing is spiritual. I said, this thing is spiritual. I said, you are not like this. I said, something changed. I kept saying it. I said, and then it's going to affect the whole of destiny. It's even going to affect your child. It's going to affect many things. I couldn't say it enough. I was just praying. God began to open the eyes of Zainab. He began to see how snake entered to their house, going through all the pipe. And I said, if snake entered the pipe, how do you know that it's not in the shower? That as you are bathing, it's just from snake poison. So as you bath, you just feel like sleeping. It's like sleeping dose. As you drink, just feel like. And I said, this demon has come. In September, when I came back from Nigeria, and we were praying here, something changed about her. Anytime I pass by her from that time, the tongues are unreasonable, are inexplicable. She told me herself that something changed about me, that my tongue and whatever changed. Me, I'm not a doubting Thomas, but I just like to notice. I don't like anybody to do, because people eulogize testimony. So I began to go around that when we were praying, and I'm hearing tongues. I say, wow, things really changed. And from that point, the girl became quickened, and life is put on the right pedestal again. Some of you might be dealing with spirits that you don't know. Some of you might have a deal. You might have signed some contract with some spirit through some of the things that you have done, or through some of the things that you are doing.